from eating, drinking, or smoking during our journey. Now please also maintain all cell phones and recording devices.
It's Wednesday, June 20th, 2012. Okay.
Now here at the Bronx Zoo, headquarters of the wildlife.
Wednesday, June 20th, 2012.
Places around the world.
We are
Today I'm going
at
to
the
take you on a
Bronx
wildlife
Zoo.
tour of Asia, including China, India, Cambodia, Pakistan, and Nepal, all without leaving the Bronx. Now we begin our tour by briefly crossing over the Bronx River. The Bronx River is 23 miles long and the only freshwater river that runs throughout New York City. It also provides a habitat for ducks, turtlefish, and migrating birds. Now, Asia is the continent with the largest number of deer species and is well known for its deer diversity. Now, if you look to your far left, you're going to see a spotted deer. The rest of them are all the way on the other side of the field, and those are our access deer. Now, the access deer are native to Sri Lanka, and they're one of the few deer species that get to keep their spots for their whole life. Now, the Bronx Zoo has exhibited access deer since 1899. Now to the back of these two rounded fences, you're going to see a small-like antelope with a white underbelly, and that is our black-buck antelope, right to the center of the field. Now, the males and the females are sexually dimorphic, meaning they look completely different from each other. Make sure males can be recognized by that dark brown ring around their necks and long spiral horns, while females have no horns and have a more tannish coat. Now, they stand at 2.5 to 3 feet at the shoulder.
Imagine if we saw the lion, it would be so beautiful. From the tiger.
Now, do you know the difference between antlers and horns? Antlers are solid bone. They branch and they are not permanently attached to the skull, so the animal sheds and regrow them each year. Horns are hollow, they don't branch, and are permanent. They are never shed, and this exhibit the deers have antlers, which antelopes have horns. Now these two small hunts you see right across from us represent an important conservation story about our deers, and I would like to share that story with you now.
Barracks of deer remaining in central India. But this population was saved by the cooperation of the local Indian community. Like the shacks you see here, there were many small farms using space in and around India's Kanha National Park. These people were coming into contact with the deer and the tigers that were also living there. Through cooperation with the Indian government, local communities agreed to relocate their villages. By moving, the farmers still had land to farm, but the tigers and their prey had more room to roam.
We all know that a species that is extinct and no longer exists, like the dinosaur, or the next animal you're about to see, was on the verge of extinction. In fact, the Mongolian wild horses was extinct in nature and can only be found in captivity. Recently, there have been some introductions of Mongolian wild horses in several areas of Mongolia and China, compared to North America and Asian zoos. Now today they're considered the only true wild horses living today, and as you can see, their appearance different from domestic horses. They got a stork-tailed boat, shorter legs, and an erect mane similar to a mohawk. And they're also missing the fur like the piece of hair that falls over their forehead. Now, captive breeding of Mongolian wild horses started with a small group of 28 animals in 1901. The Bronx Zoo received its first Mongolian wild horses in 1902, and we have maintained our herd since way back then. Now here's more about the Mongolian wild horses' very long history.
The first accounts of Mongolian wild horses come from rock engravings, paintings, and even cave drawings that date back more than 20,000 years. And the first written accounts were from Tibet, sometime around 900 AD. But these horses remained largely unknown and unnamed to the Western world for many years. During an expedition to Central Asia in 1879, a famous Russian explorer and naturalist, Colonel Nikolai Przewalski, encountered the horse in Western Mongolia. Because of his discovery, this species is also known as Przewalski's horse.
Though a few researchers sometimes have difficulties finding the animals they want to study in the wild, I will be able to pinpoint these animals here for you today, even if they're not in plain sight. So as we look for these animals, think of where you would go if you wanted a shaded spot, a quiet place to rest, or a little racing time. Right now, we're going to be on the lookout for two of our endangered species, the gaur and the brown antler deer. Once again, two endangered species, gaur and brown antler deer. Now if you look to your further right, you're gonna see these big, bulky, brown colored animals, and those are our gaurs. Now before you see the gaurs, you're also gonna see right to the left of the gaur, and more towards the front of the center of this field, these tannish colored deers, and those are our brown antler deer. Now the brown antler deer get the name because of the curved shape of the male's antlers, but as you can see here today, there's no owls out here, and that is because we only have our females on display. Now they're currently classified as almost extinct because they keep losing their natural habitat due to farming, and many of them have reduced to feeding on crops to be able to survive in the wild. Now once again, going back to those big animals all the way to the back, the gaur. Now the gaur are the largest wild cattle in the world, even bigger than the American bisons. Now males can weigh over 2,000 pounds, as much as a small car. And they can stand at 6 feet tall and 10 feet long, and with a large size and impressive horns. A male gaur can fight just about anything, even a tiger. Now what threatens these huge animals is the loss of the Asian habitat and the diseases they can catch from domestic cattle. Now that gaur all the way at the front, standing all by himself, that is our male alpha, and his name is Eddie, or Eddie Gaur. Now both the gaur and the brown antler deer participate in a service called the Species Survival Plan, and this is a service we got here at the Bronx Zoo and in other zoos across the U.S.
Here at the zoo, we help gaur and brown antler deer and many other species by participating in cooperative zoo management programs called Species Survival Plans. The name says it all. The plans aim to help these animals survive. Zoos across the country work together to maintain genetically diverse populations of rare and endangered species.
As we cut this band, I will ask everyone to please maintain all cell phones and recording devices inside the model car, and all of the more younger kids either in their laps or in their seats, because now we're on the lookout for our tiger. Now tigers provide excellent camouflage. They are so secretive that even professional researchers have trouble finding these tigers in the wild. Now an adult tiger is a solitary animal, and that is why you're only going to see one tiger at this exhibit at a time. Now we're looking for our newest addition here, wild Asian monitor. He's only 2 years old. He is of the Siberian family, and his name is Yuri. Now only 2 years old, he's close to weighing 300 pounds. Now you're going to see our tiger, he's all the way to the front on the right side of the field. And we're catching up to him shortly. Now when we do our slow down so you can get a little bit of a better view. And I'm going to tell right below us as Yuri is taking a lovely nap. Mild tigers can gorge themselves on fresh kill, eating as much as 40 pounds of meat at one time. So just think that's the equivalent of 160 hamburgers, no soft drink, no fries. After a meal that size, they will not eat again for several days. And you know what? It's completely understandable, because after a meal that size, we wouldn't be eating for several months. Not all tigers are endangered. Habitat loss, lack of prey, and poaching have all reduced tiger numbers. As a result, there may be as few as 3,000 tigers left in the wild today, with about 1,000 of those being breeding females. Now WCS has a long-standing conservation program in 9 countries where wild tigers still exist. In 2006, WCS and Panthera, a cat conservation group, launched the Tigers Forever initiative with the ambitious goal of increasing tigers' numbers by 50% over a 10-year period in 8 priority landscapes across Asia. Now, if you would like to see more tigers, you can also visit Tiger Mountain. Now, a closer view of those deer you didn't quite see at the beginning of the tour because they were too far back, and those are the axis deer. Once again, they are natives to Sri Lanka, and they're one of the few deer species that get to keep their spots for their entire life. Commonly, some of those other deer with spots tend to lose them because their fur sheds every other season. Now, we also have India's national bird, the peafowl. Males are called peacocks, and the only ones with those beautiful back feathers. Females are called peahens, and those babies you might see around the zoo, because yet is that season where there are those pea chicks. Now, the road right below us, now usually in the wild, a road can be dangerous for our animals. It gets the hunters nearer their homes and less land for the animal to survive. But here at the Bronx Zoo, this road is to help the zookeepers travel the 40 acres of the wild Asian monarch. Now, can you imagine a pig with upper tusk that is up to the top of his snout and curves backwards towards his eyes? This you're gonna see all the way back there, over here to your behind the pond, is our male Barbarossa, and his name is Umberto, with his lovely tusk. And in our next panel to the right, you got our female Kelsey. Now the fact that they tucks resemble antler in this name, Barbarossa means pig deer in the Malay language. Now the males Barbarossas use their tucks to fight over males to display dominance in order to attract the female. Now, to see more Barbarossas, you can visit our bachelor pad near the Zoo Center, where you can visit Porky. Now elephants are the largest land mammals. Unfortunately, they're also becoming one of the rarest. Elephants can live up to 60 years in the wild. Our Asian elephants, Patty and Maxine here, are in their early 40s. Now to the front of that is Patty, behind her that's Maxine, and they are BFF forever. Now they can weigh more than 10,000 pounds, and they eat lots of vegetation. In addition to a variety of vegetables, they can eat up to 200 pounds of hay each day and drink 60 gallons of water. Now you see those trunks? Now that is what I call an incredible tool. It also sometimes works for them as a water hose. As you can see, Patty right now is just spitting water on herself to keep herself cool. Now the trunk has more than 40,000 muscles and no bone. It also has a finger-like feature at the very end of the trunk that they can use to grab small items. So they can use that trunk to gently pick up an egg without breaking it, or to tear down a tree with enormous force. Now us ladies can actually envy something about these Bronx Zoo elephants, and that is that they get lots of personal attention, and that includes baths and pedicures twice a week. Nail polish not included. Now this lovely lady right behind us here, right in front of us here, that is our diva, 16-year-old female Indian rhino.
Ooh, what's that all?
Penny. Now today our rhinos are endangered, and in fact there may be as few as 2,000 Indian rhinos that survive India and Nepal. Here at the Bronx Zoo, we care for 9 endangered Indian rhinos. Now taking care of these very rare animals is one thing. Now we actually consider that the easiest part. Now the most difficult and challenging part of the rhino is actually the breeding. Now I'll give you all a little fact about the rhino that is going to shock more the women than the men. Now my question is, are you ready for this information? Okay, I'll take the silence as a yes. Now, a female rhino is pregnant for 16 months. Now my question is, ladies, can you imagine being pregnant for a year and a half? Or can you even imagine giving birth to a baby that can weigh from 100 to 175 pounds? Yes, shocking, but that is the life of a rhino. So ladies, please put the jar. I just wanted to, shock you for a bit, not freak you out during the whole tour. Now many people do describe rhinos as armor-plated, but they actually have a layer of skin that has many, many folds. And though the skin of a rhino may look thick and tough, it's actually the opposite. It's very sensitive, and it needs protection from the sun and from bugs. Now the way to protect the skin is to sit in this huge mud wallow here and covers her body in mud from head to toe. Now that mud wallow you do see there has been with us for a very long time, in fact, since 1977. Now many rhinos have spent their time enlarging that wallow by stomping or laying in the mud. Now I'm sad to say this, because out of all the animals you've seen here today, and that you will be continuing on to seeing, the rhino is the most endangered species of them all. And here's why.
The horn of a rhinoceros is very different from that of a goat or antelope. It is not attached to the skull. Rhino horn is made from compressed keratin fibers, the same material that is found in fingernails and hair. Although rhinos are a protected species, poaching still occurs. Rhinos are killed for their body parts, as some people believe that this horn has special medicinal powers. It is also used as an ingredient in some traditional Asian medicines, and the rhino horn is also prized in some cultures for making dagger handles.
Now you'll remember that when we started our tour, I said Asia is the continent with the largest number of deer species, and it's well known for its deer diversity. Well, guess what? Now we're on the lookout for more of those deers. Now as soon as we start passing this bushy area, you're going to see this rounded fence, and you're going to see two types of deers. Now I'm going to start with those behind the fence, the ones that are forward with that dark brown coat, and those are our sandbar deer. Now the front in front with the spots is our Formosa Sika deer, and I'll explain more about them as we do continue our tour. Now the sandbar deer are the largest of the deer species. Males can stand at 5 feet tall, and they can weigh over 650 pounds. Now the antlers can go to 3 feet tall, and they can have 3 bars in each antler. Males tend to live alone, while females live in smaller groups. Now to the back of this field along that second front around the fence, and here on top of this hill, you got these small like spot deers, and those are our Formosa Sika deer. Now the Formosa Sika deer are native to the islands of Taiwan, formerly known as Formosa. Now overhunting and habitat loss eliminated the last wild herd of these spotted deers in the early 1970s. Today they're only found in zoos and in national parks in Taiwan, where they have been successfully reintroduced. Now the Bronx Zoo has the largest number of Formosa Sika deer in the world. Now if you look all over to your further left, you're going to see more of our Formosa Sika deer. And if you look to these front here by this muddy area, that's more of our sandbar deer. And to that second round of fence straight ahead, you're going to have these small like deers along there, and those are our hog deers. Now the hog deers get their names because they're short and heavy like hogs. They also move like hogs, they creep, they run low, and they duck under things like most other deers. And this antelope right here in the front that looks like he's wearing black and white striped socks is our nilgai antelope. Now males have horns while the females don't, and mature males can be recognized by that bluish gray tint to their coat. Now the nilgais refer to the coloration, meaning blue bull in Hindi, and they can run at speeds of 40 miles per hour. Now you're going to see this small like deer to the very front here. That is a fully grown China tuffy deer. Now they're really small in size and dark in coat. And at less than 40 pounds, the China tuffy deer can be easy to miss. Now, a fun fact about this deer is that when it makes noise, it sounds very much like the bark of a dog. Now, they run tail and rump, and this can be important for deer communication because when alarmed, they will raise its tail to inform other deers that there is danger nearby. Now, these deers are very rare outside of Asian zoos, so we're very happy and proud to say we're one of the few zoos outside of Asia that actually have these type of deers. Now they're crossing over the Bronx River once again, our highest point of the day at 35 feet above water, and take a look at this view. Now the WCS know how important it is to take care of our greenways and courtiers, and we want to make sure that the Bronx River maintains a healthy resource that can be enjoyed by Bronx residents and local wildlife. Now to learn more about the Bronx River, you can visit the Mitsubishi River Walk located along the edges of Parking Area B. And if you're lucky, you might actually see two of our most famous beavers here at the Bronx Zoo, Jose and Justin Beaver. And once again, you can only see this at the Mitsubishi River Walk located along the edges of Parking Area B. Now as you visit our animals here at the zoo, please remember that their relatives still live in the wild places of Asia. Now conflicts between humans and wildlife are becoming a more common concern all over the world. For example, there's currently a wildlife crisis occurring in Asia. From China to Vietnam, uncontrolled hunting, loss of habitat,